世話になっております。Cruxay でございます。Today's video is going to be more of a current events piece on the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, and more specifically why, whether or not they do happen, basically in my mind they're cancelled. At the time of this recording, the now 2021 Tokyo Summer Olympics are still set to happen, despite pretty much massive protests on all sides. This whole event has been devastating for so many in Japan, myself included. It was a huge milestone for me personally, as I kind of set the 2020 Tokyo Olympics as the bare minimum of how long I would stay in Japan and a point to evaluate how far I've come in Japan. Plus, just to be living in the city where the Olympics are happening is pretty much a once-in-a-lifetime event. Aside from the obvious fact that, like the Olympics, my stay in Japan is going to be delayed indefinitely, I wanted to take this opportunity to reflect, look at how Japan has dealt with everything, and also how we can look past this terrible situation. As always, in my own opinion, of course. Did you have plans to visit Tokyo for the 2020 Summer Olympics? Let me know in the comments down below. Before we can even get into why the Olympics are basically cancelled, let's have a quick update on the COVID situation in Japan currently. At the time of this recording, it is currently June 1st, 2021. We are now in our third soft lockdown and fourth wave of infections. And to top it all off, this third lockdown has now just been extended for the third time until June 20th. Soft lockdown or state of emergency, aka Kinkyu Jitai Sengen, as we're quite used to hearing here nowadays, basically means that all shops close at 8 p.m., no alcohol to be served, and other various restrictions on public gatherings. Also, due to the constitution written post-World War II, the Japanese government cannot force everyone to stay at home like governments can in other countries. So basically it boils down to a strong request for everyone to stay home, work from home. But the sad reality is that the majority of Japan is so tech inept that probably 80 to 90% of people are going to the office daily anyways. Despite all this, the infection rates are relatively low. However, the hospital system is on the brink of collapse. Vaccination rollouts have been god-awful thanks to this nitwit and his ragtag team of geezers who have no idea what a computer is. But for the record, I actually don't blame Suga for any of this directly. He's very obviously the fall guy for Abe for all of this so that his legacy as the longest standing PM in Japan does not go down in flames. In any case, someone like myself or someone in their 30s, 40s, or 50s probably isn't getting vaccinated anytime soon. Although I will say, for all the failings of the government, it really is the awesome people of this country who have kept infection rates as low as they have been. Public hygiene in this country is first rate. Everything is always so clean. It's a mask-wearing culture to begin with, and people here do their part to prevent others from getting sick, pandemic or not. And there are very few, if any, geniuses here complaining about things like masks restricting their freedom levels. Moving on. September 7th, 2013. A bittersweet day for Japan as a nation. Having just faced the devastating destruction of the Tohoku earthquake and tsunami, Japan desperately needed a win. And that win was granted in the form of the Olympics.
Tokyo!
And no sooner did the nation go to work building amazing infrastructure for the Olympics set in July of 2020. I've seen it firsthand here as entire cities have changed from Shibuya to Shinjuku and so on. Beautiful new buildings, event spaces, restaurants, transportation hubs, tourist centers, and the list goes on. And then it happened.
The coronavirus emergency. The Diamond Princess with more than 350 confirmed cases.
昨日から北海道の千歳市を訪れていた中国武漢市からの旅行客が今日未明、高熱などの症状で病院に搬送されました。
中国武漢で発生している肺炎の原因とみられる新型コロナウイルスに感染した患者が日本国内で初めて確認されました。
中国の湖北省武漢市の滞在歴がある肺炎の患者が報告をされました。
We have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
I was set to go on a business trip in late January of 2020. This was when numbers in Japan were still just in double digits. I told my colleague who I was set to go on the business trip with that this could be bad and immediately cancelled. Fast forward to just months before the Olympics that were set originally in 2020. I believe Canada was one of the first countries to set the precedent and pull out, and shortly after that, it all unraveled. It is truly upsetting as Japan really needed that win, and it looks like no matter what the outcome will be, it's never going to truly get it. Every day I walk around Tokyo, I still see countless billboards, countdown clocks, and advertisements for the 2020 Olympic Games. And now with everyone from health professionals to top executives in Japan begging for the games to be cancelled, it's just a matter of time. In my mind, this is something that Japan has lost that it will unfortunately never get back. No matter what the outcome, someone's going to lose. If it goes through, then the public loses, as the IOC put profits ahead of human lives. If it doesn't go through, then the athletes who have trained their entire lives for this moment will also never get that back. It is truly, truly devastating to have this happen, to Japan and to humanity as a whole. The only time in the history of the Olympics that it's ever been cancelled is due to wars. Yeah, wars. Now look, I don't want to be a downer here. Obviously this sucks. But believe it or not, I'm actually a bit of an optimist, and here's what I think we can all do going forward. First things first, let's all stop focusing on the vaccinations and when things can go back to normal. There is no more back to normal. Instead, let's look back and see what this has taught us. For decades now, leading health professionals have been warning us of ensuing zoonotic disease pandemics. And instead, what do? Fucking ignore them and continue living our lives the way we always have been. Our way of life, in particular, our complete lack of respect for our fellow human beings, as well as all other beings we share this planet with, is frankly appalling. And not just in wet markets in China. All over the world, wherever we exploit humans, as well as to a much larger extent, animals. Something we can all do between now and when we can go maskless with naked faces back into society again is pick up a book, or just do some simple research on what got us in this god-awful situation to begin with. I feel like whenever I talk to people about the pandemic, everyone's so outcomes focused on vaccinations or all the social obligations they're going to have when things go back to normal, or God forbid, just living life as if things are already back to normal. All the while forgetting it's how we lived our lives in the normal that put us in this situation in the first place. Honestly, we're all responsible for the situation we're currently in, and we all have the power as individuals to educate ourselves and make changes for a better future. If you don't know where to start, check out this video, which I'll link here and in the description below. Comment below if you're curious to learn more, and I'm happy to share more resources. There is honestly no better time than now to look inside ourselves and reflect on where we are in life and ask why. And that is the only true way that things will ever get better. And secondly, on a much lighter note, the infrastructure built up for the Olympics in Japan is amazing, and will no doubt be a huge welcome mat for the years to come when travel opens up again. There are so many spots that have opened up just in Tokyo in the last few months that are so much fun. Despite all of this, there is a bigger and better Tokyo waiting for you. No doubt, Japan and all of us will make it out of this. And that is not to take lightly all of those who we've lost during this pandemic. But it should serve as a reason for all of us to continue to get better going forward. Apologies for diverting away from your regular scheduled programming, guys. Just that this video has been on my mind for quite some time and I wanted to get it out there. If you have managed to make it this far, you are a champion and I truly respect you for it. Please do kindly like this video, subscribe, comment, do whatever it is you do, and I will see you in the next video. Now, why don't you check out one of these?